So inshallah we'll do Surah Al-Fil today. Just to give a little background of this surah. This surah was revealed in Makkah, and the time is about the time when Prophet ﷺ was born. In about 2 months before, he was born in Rabiul Awwal, and about 2 months before that, in the month of Muharram, something took place in the city of Makkah. A ruler of Byzantine Empire came with his army and his elephants, and his intention was to destroy Kaaba. The people of Makkah, Quraysh, they were weak. Prophet ﷺ's grandfather Abdul Muttalib was in charge there. They couldn't do anything, so they just went to the mountains and left Makkah alone. So Allah's help came in the form of birds. They were flying in large quantity, and they were holding stones, small stones in their mouth, in their beaks, and in their paws. And they dropped those on the army and the elephants. And as a result of that, some sort of rash appeared on their skins, the skins of the people and the elephants. And it spread, it started bleeding, and they started dying. So they continued, they retreated, they went back, but this disease went along with them, and they all perished. All of them died. So this is the story that took place. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in this ayat reminds in the Quran what happened recently in the city of Makkah. So that's what the surah is. So I'll do first a very quick translation and then go back in the beginning. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Alam tara kaifa, did you not see? Fa'ala rabbuka, what your Lord did. Bi ashabil fil, with the companions or with the owners of the elephant. Al-fil is the elephant. Alam yaj'al, did he not make kaidahum, their planning, their plotting, the plot they came with to destroy the Kaaba, fi tadlil, in waste, in wrong or in error, it means failure for them. Wa arsala alayhim, and he sent, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent upon them, upon the army with the elephants and the people, Tayran ababil. Tayran is birds, and ababils is a large quantity, flocks of birds. Tarmihim, and they were dropping, the birds were dropping upon them, upon the people, bihijaratin, these small rocks, small pebbles, min sijil, of baked clay, of hard clay. Okay? And then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, فَجَعَلَهُمْ, then he made them كَأَسْفٍ مَأْكُولٍ, like the straw that was already eaten, that had been eaten. Like when the cows eat the straw, how it becomes mushy, that's how they turn into. Okay, so this is the brief. Okay, now going back to the beginning, Alam tara kaifa fa'ala. So we'll go back to some basic of the grammar here. And if we have these three letters, fa and then lam, fa'ala, this means to do. Okay. And if I just take these three letters and combine and put one fataha on each of them, it will be sounding like fa'ala. The meaning of this simplest form is he, third person, and something in the past tense. So past tense of do is did. He did. That's fa'ala. Now, if I make a different formation of this and I put a ya in the beginning of these three letters and pronounce as yaf'alu, this brings the meaning of third person and present tense. So yaf'alu means he does. Third person, so does something. Okay? And We will be needing all these things to understand this surah. So this is the basic structure of the words. Now instead of a ya, if I put a ta there and sound like taf'alu, this brings the meaning of you and present tense. One person, you do. Fa'ala, past tense, he did. Third person did something. Yaf'alu, third person is doing something in the presently. And taf'alu means you, one person is doing something. Okay? We'll need all these three words here to understand many words here. Okay? Also, the word lam. Lam means not. Okay? Lam means not. But this lam does something extra. When we combine, let's see with this word, which is the present tense, you do. Okay? And the word is actually taf'alu. Okay? Now, if we make one small change here, and instead of this dhamma, if you put a sukoon there or a jazm there, this will become lam taf'al. The meaning of these two words together, not alone, the lam combining with this word taf'al, the meaning becomes the not in the past tense. So the meaning will that you did not do. Okay? Originally it was present tense, you do. Lam made it a not and a past tense. So lam taf'al, very important to understand. Lam taf'al means you did not do. Something which you did not do is lam taf'al. Okay? Now we are going to add one more letter here, alif with a hamza. This alif has the meaning of a question mark. Okay? So alam taf'al means did you not do? It becomes a question. Alif brings the question mark. So the word will become did you not do? In English, when you say did you not do, you are actually asking a question. Have you not done this thing? Okay? So the meaning will be did you not do? And we will need this combination. So the meaning will be did you not do? It's very important. These three words together, alif with a question mark, lam that has the meaning of not, and taf'alu changed into taf'al brings the meaning of this whole sentence, did you not do? Like you are telling your child, did you not do this thing? So you are actually asking in a negative way. Okay? So that's the meaning. Okay? Now, keeping this formation in mind, we will take this word, Arabic word, ra, alif and ya, these three letters. Okay? This is actually hamza. These three means to see something. Ra means to see. These are three letters. Ra, alif and ya. Like when you say ru'yat halal, you are watching the moon. So ra means to see something, to watch something. Okay? So if I, instead of fa'ala, I am going to use these three letters. And if I just use this sentence, and in fa and in lam, these three letters, I replace these three letters. So alam will remain there, ta will remain there, but alif and ya are weak letters. In the pronunciation they drop out just to make it easy. So this word will become alam tara. Just like that. Alam tara is same as alam tafal, except that alam tafal means you did not do or did you not do. Alam tara, did you not see? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is addressing the people of Makkah that did you not see in the Quran what happened a little while ago? You were present when the army came to Makkah to destroy the Kaaba. Did you not see that situation? Did you not see what was happening at that time? So that is the meaning of alam tara. And the answer is that you definitely saw it. But this is the way of making the statement. Asking a question doesn't mean that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is expecting an answer from you. He is just reminding you that have you not seen something that happened very recently? Okay, so that is the meaning of alam tara. Alam tara will be did you not see? Okay. Now the next word is kaifa. Kaifa means sometimes how, sometimes what. When you are asking someone kaifa hal or kaifal hal or kaifa haluka, these are different words. You are asking how are you. So kaifa is kaifiyat, a situation you are asking of a person. Kaifa you can translate how or what, depending on the sentence. Okay. So here I can use the word what. So did you not see what? Alam tara kaifa, did you not see what? Okay? And the next word fa'ala, we already learned here, he did. Did you not see what he did? Okay, so the meaning will be so far, did you not see what he did? Okay? Now, now who is this he? Okay? That is being defined by the next word. Okay? So the next word is ra, ba, and ba. And Rabbun is the noun. Rabbun means Lord. Rabbun means Lord. Okay? And ka means you. Kaf with the fatha means you, one person you. Okay? So when you combine these two together by the rule of combination, this becomes Rabbuka. Rabbuka means your Lord. Okay? So now, Fa'ala, he did. Rabbuka, your Lord. So you don't have to translate he because now Rabbuka is there. So the meaning will be Fa'ala Rabbuka, your Lord did. Fa'ala Rabbuka, Rabbuka means your Lord, did. So did you not see? The sentence starts, did you not see what or how your Lord did? Means Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala did. He did something and is being reminded that what did he do or how he did something recently. Okay? Now the next two words are going to point to the specific incident that took place. Okay? So the word starts with bi ashab and the next word is al-fil. Okay? So the first word starts with these three letters, Swad, Ha, and Ba. Sahaba. Sahaba means to give company, to accompany someone, to be together with someone. Okay? And Sahibun is a companion. Someone who is with you is called Sahib. Sahibun, someone, Ashabur Rasul, the companions of the Prophet ﷺ. That's the word we learn all the time. So sahibun means one companion. So this means companion. Its plural is ashabun. So ashabun means companions, plural. Ashabun, sahibun, one companion, one person who is with you. Ashabun, many people, many companions who are with you. Okay? And alfilo means elephant. The elephant. Okay. Actual word is filun. Filun means one elephant, single elephant. Okay. When you put al, it becomes the. Okay. So now we're talking about only those elephants that came with the army. So that is al-filu. Okay. So one companions and al-filu, the elephant. When you combine these two together, it will become companions of the elephant. Or you can say the owners of the elephants. Because the army came with the elephants. So elephants and army are coming together. Okay? So when you combine these, it will become ashabul fili. Okay? So this is going to put an off in between. Okay? And off, when we put off, we take out one dhamma from here and make this dhamma to a kasra. That's the standard rule of combining two nouns and bringing a relationship like putting an off in between. Okay? So ashabul fili means the companions of the elephant, which means the army of the elephants. The people who came in the army with the elephants. Okay? Now there is one more thing here, B. B means with. Okay. And B is a harfijar, and we have learned that harfijar takes the last dhamma and changes into a kasra. Okay. So now the word became B ashabil fili. Exactly that's how it's in the Quran. With the companions of the elephant. With the pupil of the elephant. Okay. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, did you not see what your Lord did, or how your Lord did, with the army or with the companions of the elephant? Which means the army of the elephant that came, did you not see what happened to them? Okay, so that is the meaning so far. The ashabil means with the companions of the elephant. And that's the name of the surah, Al-Fil, okay, the elephant.
Can you also use the ashab if you will, the owner? Can you use the word?
Yes. In English, to make good English, you can say owner of the elephants, yes. Okay. So whoever was with the elephant, the army of the pupil, there were about 60,000 soldiers in that army, and there were about 13 elephants, or 9, there are two versions of that. Okay. And the intention was that these elephants were heavy and powerful and big, and they will go and destroy the Kaaba, demolish the building of the Kaaba. That was the intention. Okay. So this is what owners of the elephants and the companions of the party that came with the soldiers that came with the elephants. Okay. Now, next ayat has the word Jim and lam. Ja'ala. Okay? Ja'ala means to make. Okay? Ja'ala, there are many du'as in the Quran which have this word. Rabbi ja'alni muqima salati. So, Ja'ala means to make. Okay? Now, if you look at the word here, alam yaj'al. This is the same word as alam yaf'al. Okay? And we know that the meaning of alam yaf'al will be did he not do. So alam yaj'al means did he not make. Because alif is there, lam is there, the same way there. And instead of yaf'al, it is yaj'al only. So meaning will be, did he not make? Okay. Same thing as like alam is doing question mark, did he not? Okay. So the meaning will be, did he not? And he is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Did he not make? Alam yaj'al, did he not make?
Can you say didn't he?
Yes, you can say that. Did he? Okay. So, alam yaj'al, did he not make? What did he not make? Kaidahum. Okay. So, kaidahum, let's look at the word kaf, ya, and dal. This means to plan something. To plan or to plot. Okay. Planning, to do some planning. Kaidun. Okay. So these are the three letters, and the noun is kaidun. Kaidun means plot or a plan, or whatever they had come up with the intention, that was their plan. The plan was to destroy Kaaba. Okay. So kaidun, okay, and hum means them, and this hum is talking about the Ashabul Fil. Okay. So instead of Ashabul Fil, we are using hum. Okay. So if I combine these, them and plot, this will become kaiduhum. Kaiduhum is their plan. Okay, when you combine, you remove one dhamma, or you can say plan or plot of them. It will be like their plot or their plan. Whatever they had come with the plan, this is combination will give you kaiduhum. Kaiduhum, their plot. Okay.
So here, the plan and the plot is the same meaning.
Yeah, because this is a makr actually. You know, makr is something that you plan in your mind to harm other people. Okay. So whatever intention, planning, plotting they had come with, that is what kaidun is. Okay? And hum means there. Kaiduhum. Now this is a noun. Kaiduhum. And this is a noun, and noun is coming after a verb. So the rule is that if a noun is coming after the verb, its last dhamma changes into a fataha. So it will become kaidahum. So that is the word in the Quran. So meaning will be, did he not make their plan or their plot, whatever, they had come with the planning. Okay? So this will be their plot. Okay? Now the fi means in. letters, Dod, Lam, Lam, Dalala is the word that we read every day. Dalin. Dalin is from the same letters. Dalin means Ghairil Maghdubi Alaihim Wala Dalin. Dalin means going astray, going wrong, okay, going into vain, okay, going in error, okay. So that's the meaning of this dalala, okay, to go wrong, okay. So tadlil is from these letters, and this means wrong. So tadlilun means wrong. Okay. And if I put fi before, fi means in, okay. And fi is a harf jar, so it changes these to dhammas to a two kasras. So the meaning of the ayat says, did he not make, he is here Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, did he not make their plan going wrong? So whatever planning they had come with, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala turned that plan around, it became in vain, it became of no use. Okay. It went wrong. So fi tadlilim means in wrong or in vain. Okay. So for English you can put multiple words, whatever makes a sentence good. Did he not make Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala their plot in vain or gone wrong? Okay.
Misguided.
Yeah, misguided or gone wrong. Okay, so or you can say in vain. Vain means has gone wasted, gone away, wrong. Okay. So how did he do that? Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is using the word wa arsala. Okay. So the root letters are Ra, Sin and Lam. Okay. Just like Rasul. And these are three letters. So they belong to the group of the words which called fa'ala. And then in the other bab, which is called af'ala, you put an alif, this becomes arsala. Arsala means to send. To send. Rasul is someone who is sent as a messenger. So arsala means to send. Okay? And if I combine these three like this, or these four letters, arsala, that means he sent. Just like fa'ala, he did. You put fatahs on them, it becomes arsala, he sent. Now here he is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So ayat says that Allah sent something. Arsala, wa means and in the beginning. This wa means and arsala means he sent. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent something. Okay. Then the word after that is Allah, which is written like that, and whom. Allah means upon, and whom means them. Okay. Allah means upon, and whom means them, and them is again the pupil of the elephant. Okay. So when you write down these two together, this ya here can be written with the two dots like this one. And whom is written this way. Okay. And because the word is now pronounced alai, not Allah anymore, alay. Okay? And to match this sound in tajweed, we also pronounce this as kasra. So alayhim, easy to pronounce, instead of saying alayhum, it's more tajweed, more rhythm in there. Alayhim, upon them. Wa arsala alayhim, and he sent upon them. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent upon the people of the elephant something. So this is upon them. Okay. So what did he send upon them? The next two words are explaining that. The root letters are ta, ya and ra. Okay. And from these three letters, there is a word which is called ta'irun. Ta'irun means a bird. Ta'irun means one bird. Okay. Its plural is ta'irun. Okay. So the word is ta'irun. Ta'irun means birds. Okay. Tayrun. The full word is Tayrun with the two dhammas to tanween at the end. Tayrun means birds. Okay. Now again going back, the word is arsala. Arsala is a verb. He sent. What he sent? He sent the birds. So bird is a noun. So whenever a noun comes after the verb, its two dhammas change into two fathas. That's a very standard rule. Okay? And whenever you have two fathas like that, you always write an alif there. You don't pronounce, you just write it. That's the rule of writing. So the word is tayran. Meaning is still same, the birds. But because of the combination of a verb and a noun, tayrun changes into tayran. Meaning same. So arsala alayhim tayran, and he sent upon them birds. Okay. Okay. So now, next word is ababilun actually. So the root letters for are alif, ba, and na. Okay, these are the three root letters in Arabic. And these three letters make some combinations. In the Quran there is a word ibl. Wa'ilal ibli kayfa khuliqat. Iblin means the camel. So if we combine these three letters, it becomes camel, one camel. But if you create in a different formation like aba and b like this, aba, b, lun always ends like that. Aba, b, lun means a large number of birds, flocks. A big number of birds, lot of birds are called ababil. Jhund. Big number of birds is called ababilun. Okay, so this means a large number of birds. Okay, and so the word is tayran. Tayran means birds. Ababil, a large number. So tayran, and the word is actually, sorry, let me write down this here. The word before this is tayran. So this is bird and this is a large quantity, large number. So here Tayran has two fathas, okay, and ababilun is the quality or the adjective of that. And in Arabic, the adjective and the noun follow the same grammar. So this changes into two fathas, so it becomes Tayran ababilan. Meaning stays same. Tayran ababilan means a large quantity of birds, huge number of birds, a big flock of birds. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sent upon them. They came flying from nowhere. Do you have a question?
Not a question. I learned that ababil is the name of the bird, so that's not correct, right?
No, it means flocks, large number.
Oh.
Yeah. So there may have been some names of some birds, but in general, this word is a large number of birds. Okay. So Tayran ababil, wa arsala alayhim Tayran ababil. He sent upon them, the people of the elephant, a large number of birds. Okay. And a large number is called a flocks of birds. Okay, so we can write down flocks of birds. Okay, so what did these birds do? Tarmihim bihijaratin min sijil. So let's look at these words. Okay. The word that a lot of people know is when they go for Hajj, they do Rami. Okay. What is Rami? They throw stones on the shayateen. Okay. So Rama, Ra, Mim and Ya means to throw something. And in general we throw a stone, that's what's called Rami, the part of the Hajj. Okay? So that is the root letters. Now, one part of the grammar is that if I put a ta in the beginning and combine with this one, tarmi. Tarmi, this ya brings the meaning of a feminine third person. So the meaning will be she threw. Rama means to throw. Okay, so to throw something like small pebble, a small rock. And tarmi, this ta brings the meaning of a feminine, like a third person feminine is throwing something. You call she threw something. You will see the word in Arabic, tarmi, she threw. Now, the rule is that in Arabic as well as in many other languages, English also, when you have a group of something, you use one person's grammar for that. When you have a group, you use one person feminine grammar for that. For those who know Urdu, I will say when you say Fauj aa gayi, okay? Fauj is an army, and you are using one person's feminine grammar for that. Same thing here. Ababil is a group of birds, and Tarmi is being used for that. When you combine, you don't have to use she, so you will be Ababil throwing, or Ababil, large number of birds threw something. Tarmi, him means upon them. Again, upon the people, upon the army. Okay, so him is totally different. The word is Tarmi. So translate Ababil and Tarmi together. So it will be the birds threw. Large number of birds, flocks of the birds threw. Whom means to them or upon them, upon the army. Okay? So Tarmihim, throwing, you can say throwing upon them. He sent an army, he sent a large quantity or large number of birds. Birds were throwing upon them. Okay. Something they were throwing upon them. That's coming the next one. Okay. Okay. So the next word is ha, jim, and ra. Okay. And hijrun. Hijrun means a stone or a rock. Hijrun means a rock or a stone, small stone called hijr. Hijrun. Okay. Its plural is hijaratun. Its plural is written that hijaratun. Stones. Okay. Hijaratun. Okay. Now B before that means with. Throwing with the stones, they were dropping the stones upon them. So that is with the stones. They were dropping something. What was that? They were dropping with the stones, with the stones. Okay. So B is a harfijar. Harfijar changes these two dhammas to kasras. So the word is bihijaratin. So these birds came, they were dropping, they were throwing with the stones upon them. Tarmihim bihijaratin. Throwing upon them with the stones or the stones. Okay. Now these stones were not just regular stones. These were small pebbles, small rocks. Okay. So they were, the word in the Quran is sijil. Okay. Let's look at that word sijil. Min means from, which is a separate. Okay. So this is with the stones, and means of or from. Okay. Now this word sijil, there are many interpretations. Some say this is a Persian word. Okay. And it is made of these two words. Sang. Sang means stone. Okay. And jeel or gil is called clay. Gil or gil is called in Persian clay. Okay. So these two words actually create the word. When you speak G, and in Arabic there is no gaf here, this G. So combination of this gives the word sijil. Sijil means some stone you take, you bake it. Like you make, the sarai and those things in the old days to drink water, who cool the water. That's the baked clay. Okay. So a very special clay, and you bake them, it becomes hard. And these are small pebbles, small stones of that. So all those stones made of this baked clay, mostly this sijil is translated as a baked clay. It looks like it is a bake, so it became hard rock. Okay? So hijaratin means sijil, stones of baked clay. Okay? And some have translated that hard clay. Instead of baked, very hard. So these were small stones, but they were very hard stones, baked. So hijaratun means sijil is just one word. Stones made of clay, baked clay, hard clay. Okay? So that's how these birds came flying over them, and they just dropped and then flew away. Okay? So that is what it says up to this point. Dropping upon them, coming, dropping and going away. So whatever the characteristic of these stones or clay stones was that, it was causing a rash in the body. There was some reddish skin rash appearing on the bodies of the people and the elephant. Okay? And it got so bad that it started bleeding and people started dying with that. It's like a little chicken pox. Okay? So that's what happened to these people. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says that after these things were dropped, what happened to them? Okay? So the word is, again the jim and lam, ja'ala, means to make. And you combine these three and put one fatha, ja'ala. Ja'ala means he made. Third person past tense, when you put three fathas, it becomes third person past tense. Ja'ala, he made. And fa means so. So he made. Okay? Hum means them. So he made them. Allah made them. Or Allah turned them into something. Okay, here made them means turned them. Because when these rocks fell upon the people, they became sick, they started bleeding, they started having rash, and they started dying. Okay? So their condition is being mentioned in this last ayah. فَجَعَلَهُمْ, so he made them, or he turned them into something. So the meaning is that he made them. So he made them. Okay? Okay. So the next word is ain, swad, and fa. Asafa. Asafa, when you combine these and make it sound like asfun, asfun means straw. Okay. So like when you have any grains that grow, there is a shell around it. Seed is inside, and there is a shell around it. Bhusa jise bolte hain. That's called straw. That's called asfun. Okay. Straw, the thing which is actually thrown away. Okay. When you have the wheat grows, and there is a little shell around every single grain of wheat. So you take the seed out, that is the grain that you eat, but there is this little shell around it. That's called a straw. Throw away. So that's called asfun. Okay? And ka, before that, means as. Ka means as or like. Okay? And ka is a harf jar, and what it does, it takes the last two dhammas here and changes it to kasra. So the word becomes ka'asfin. Ka'asfin. Not meme yet, noon only. Okay. Meme will become because of this one. So the pronunciation right now is ka'asfin, like F-I-N. Ka'asfin means like the straw. Same as a straw. And these people, elephants, the army became so useless like they were dead straw. Okay? So that is ka'asfin. Okay? Now, let's look at the last word. Okay? Alif, kaf, and lam. This means to eat. Akala means to eat. Okay? Now, I'll give you an example. Okay? The example that you will be able would understand easily what ma'kul is. If you know the word which everybody knows, qatala. Qatala means to kill. Okay? We know the word which is commonly used is maqtul. What is maqtul or maqtulun? Maqtulun is the one who has been killed. Okay? Qatil is the one who is killing, right? Qatilun and maqtulun. Qatilun, when you establish a qatil, qatil means the killer. Okay? And maqtul is the one who has been killed. Okay? So it is at the scale of maf'ul. And this is at a fa'il. And this is fail. Okay? Fail means verb, has 3 letters. Fa'il is the one who is doing something, the doer. Doer is the killer. The one who is killed is maf'ul. So maf'ul is made by putting a meme in the beginning and a vav here. See how this maf'ul is made? We just put 2 letters here. We add this letter and this letter. Okay. Maf'ulun means something that has been done. A person who has been killed. Okay? So if you do the same thing here, it will become ma'kul, and the meaning will be something that has been eaten. Ma'kulun will be something that has been eaten. Okay? So the straw that has been eaten, after cow eats up all that straw, how it becomes mushy and ugly and all that looking. It is the example Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying that it is not the only straw that you take out of the grain, it looks, just like useless. But on top of that, some cow has eaten it, and after it has been eaten, it becomes really bad stuff. Okay? So that's the meaning of ma'kul. Something that has been eaten. Like for example, if someone throws up after eating food, how that food looks like. It's been eaten food. Okay? So it smells, it looks bad. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is giving the example. Ma'kulun is the word that it has been eaten. And what is not the good stuff, but the useless stuff, which is asfun, straw. The waste that was eaten, and now it looks so bad. So these people, this whole army, along with the elephants, turned into ka'asfim ma'kul. Those like straw that was eaten and became useless. Okay? So that is what the punishment of these people were, who came to destroy Kaaba. Okay? And there is a lot of interpretation that there was one elephant which did not want to go towards Kaaba. They tried to push him hard. He kept turning back away from the Kaaba. So that elephant probably was not destroyed, but our whole army was destroyed. Okay? So let me just write down this one. As straw eaten. Eaten means something ma'kul. Okay? And when you combine, then this noon is recited because of this meme as kasfim. Originally it's kasfin, but because of the meme which is appearing after fa, it's the sound of this noon is pronounced as sound of this meme. So kasfim ma'kul, as the eaten straw. Okay, so inshallah we'll stop here. And